briki, or ibrik in Turkish, if for some reason you speak that language. The language. There are probably 114,000 different variants on the recipes. You have one of these, right? What I'm going to do, okay, first things first. Greek coffee is normally served in a demi-tasse, and for perspective, this is 4 ounces. Now, most cups for on the labels for Greek coffee, for the instructions, when they say cup, they normally mean a 4-ounce cup, which is half of an actual cup, which makes things very confusing. And here's me defaulting to cold water, which is the wrong kind of water. You need to use warm water. When making this stuff. Now, I do have a bit of a description that I encourage everyone to go read because I think it's actually kind of fun. To make strong Greek coffee, 4 ounces, half of a real cup, at least 1 heaping tablespoon, but more like 2 heaping teaspoons. And a heaping teaspoon is actually 2 level teaspoons, typically. So why don't people say 2 level teaspoons? I don't know. But here's 1 heaping teaspoon. It's pretty damn heaping. I'm going to turn this sideways so you can see. Yeah, that's a big teaspoon. Now, as far as the sugar goes, normally 1 teaspoon of sugar is good enough. 2 makes it sweet. And if you want to be really hardcore, you can order your Greek coffee, vari glycos, which is twice the coffee and 3 teaspoons of sugar, which is kind of mental. So there's no heat. Nothing's happening here. I'm just going to put in one teaspoon of sugar. That's an actual level teaspoon. The whole process should take 5 to 10 minutes. Now, the only time that we might touch our coffee with a spoon or anything else is right now, or if we're making 2 servings and we want to share the crema that forms, the Kaimaki. If that word sounds Hawaiian, it's because Greeks invented Hawaii, probably. All this is in the description. So the crema that forms, that's the best part of Greek coffee, other than the fact that it's Greek. And it's nice to share with someone else if you're making 2 servings. And you really shouldn't make more than 2 servings at a time. It just doesn't work out well. If you ever see street vendors making Greek coffee, or if for whatever reason you end up in Turkey and you see a street vendor trying to eke out an existence, I don't know why they would, on the street selling Turkish coffee, which is obviously the same thing. It's just Greek coffee is infinitely better. They'll have an open flame. Oh, sometimes they'll use hot sand, which is actually really cool. And they'll have multiple ibriks or brikis, if you're using the right word, going at the same time. And it's really impressive to see. Hey, Memloss. So right now, I could stir the coffee and the sugar together. Some purists will argue that you don't even stir it. You just leave it alone, and you just give it a gentle swirl for a little bit while it's heating up. Once you start cooking your coffee, you don't want to disturb where the grounds are. So we're going to gently boil the coffee, and we don't filter this. We boil the coffee, And then we let the grounds slowly settle. And some people, when they're done making their coffee, will put it off to the side for a minute to let the grounds completely fall to the bottom. And then when you pour the coffee, you make sure you don't pour the whole thing, so you leave that sludge on the bottom of your pot. What I don't like about that is if you don't have sludge in the bottom of your cup when you're done drinking it, you can't have your fortune read. Without further ado, I'm going to stir my coffee and sugar. I am on, if you're doing this on an electric stovetop, good luck. Electric stovetops absolutely suck for making Greek coffee. If you have any sort of fire, that is the best way to do it. The challenge with using an electric stovetop is the temperature isn't ever really consistent. It fluctuates a lot to try to maintain the temperature that it's at, instead of having constant heat from below. So if you have a small camping stove, yes. If you have a small camping stove, that's kind of perfect. But it becomes a pain in the butt if you want to make a coffee like this, once or twice a day. At that point, you should just move, or get yourself a proper stove, which I clearly need to do. One thing you can do is just move your briki around the element, because the spots that aren't of the spots of the element that aren't in contact with your pot or whatever's on top of it, the rest will heat up. The part that's in contact won't have as much heat. So if you just keep moving this around every 5-10 seconds, it tends to correct that problem. Now, if you have an open fire, you want it on low. You want this to slowly come to a very gentle boil. As soon as, let's get some light in here, as soon as you see just a little shimmer of bubbles happening, almost like a volcano ready to erupt, be ready to remove this from the heat. And what you're going to want to do is just lift it up a little bit, let those bubbles settle down, and then return it to the heat. When that happens, you're going to see the crema forming, and that's what we want to maximize. If you let this come to a full boil, it's basically ruined. You lose all the awesome flavor of Greek coffee. You can see something forming on top. Good news. If you're on an electric stovetop, you want to be under medium, like medium low-ish, like 4 out of 10 on your dial, give or take. You also don't want this to take forever. According to many Greek-funded studies, Greek scientists have published reports in Greek that Greek coffee offers infinitely more health benefits than non-Greek, also known as garbage, coffee. Boiled Greek type of coffee, incredible, which is rich in polyphenols and antioxidants and contains a moderate amount of caffeine, seems to gather benefits compared to other garbage coffee beverages. Greek coffee can reduce the risk of premature death, as clearly proven by a Greek-sponsored and funded study of residents, retired decathletes, on the island of Icaria, who drink Greek, perfect, coffee at least once per day, have better cardiovascular health compared to non-Greeks, couch potatoes, who live on a diet of other bad coffee, Domino's Pizza, and Jersey Shore. Rich in chlorogenic acid, polyphenols, lipid-soluble substances, and other heart-healthy compounds, Greek, clearly the best. Coffee has been shown to help protect the arteries and boost overall immune health. Now, very few of the above claims have been editorialized and are strictly for clarity. Okay, here we go. It's just starting to shimmer, and the coffee is floofing up. So I want to keep it right at this point before I get to a full boil and develop as much crema as possible. Fuscomeno, floofed. This is so much easier on an open flame. That is to say, this is very, very difficult on an electric stovetop. We're eating a very non-traditional diet at the time. Now, you see that beautiful crema on top? That's exactly what we want. And if I had an open fire, I'd have like twice, 3 times as much. It's that much easier to work with.